welcome to Seen Through Glass. And where do I even start trying to summarise a trip like Vlogari? I am still recovering from 3 weeks of pizza and pasta in Italy, a little bit of Switzerland and Monaco. What was originally supposed to be my sort of tribute tour to the Ferrari 70th anniversary grew into something so much bigger, and I really hope you guys enjoyed all the content. I tried to capture as much of the trip as possible, whether that be travel, food or cars, and so I hope you guys enjoyed coming along for the journey. In this video, I wanted to do a quick summary, really, mention some of my highlights, give you some behind-the-scenes stories, and of course give you an overview of the costs of the trip. I think there's no better place to start than at the very beginning with the car I was collecting on day one for the entire trip, the Abarth 124 Spider. I didn't have a chance to actually film a sort of final review of that car, but what a perfect car it turned out to be for its purpose. It was tiny, so everywhere I went, it fitted the car parking, small Italian towns, narrow alleyways. It was ideal, but of course you could pop the roof up and down in 2 seconds. The boot was surprisingly big. That was my biggest concern on day one, was I going to be able to fit everything in the back of the car, and somehow I managed to do so. It's a tiny bit underpowered, I think. Maybe you'd get more fun out of the manual gearbox. It just felt a little bit held back, but when I was chasing the P1 through Switzerland, it was totally fine, it was fun, and I got my enjoyment from it. So, as I say, it ended up being the perfect car for the trip, because I think if I was in anything else a little bit more powerful or wider or expensive, I would have been more nervous about some of the places that I went. And of course, on that same day that I announced the Abarth 124 Spider was the car I was using for the trip, I also revealed the big news about my plans to buy a manual Ferrari 360. I am so pleased I got in touch with the guys at Best Auto in Modena. What a cool place, firstly. They have some amazing cars in there. I turned up really not knowing what that dealership would be like, and walked in, I was like, oh my God, this place is amazing. They had so much awesome stuff tucked away. 2 young guys now running the business, and they're really into their modern classics. So they got some really sort of rare collectible stuff. Upstairs, they had this incredible Delta Integrale, dark green Delta Integrale. It was like a barn find, they had it under a cover. They also had a really cool Abarth race car. They had a really nice Daytona lurking and a Dino, and anyway, loads of amazing stuff. But of course, they also had 3 manual 360s, 2 coupes and 1 Spider. So it was great to go down there, check them out, and of course, share the big news. The first week ended up being a bit of a travel week though, because I soon found out in Italy, no one really does anything in August. Like literally everything shuts down. All of the emails I was trying to send to plan stuff, everyone was like, oh, we're closed until the 28th of August, which was the start of my trip. So it was impossible to line up that much in the first few days, because people were like, oh, where do we get back? We email you. So I decided to sort of really like dedicate that first week to a bit of travel and indulge in my new love for travel vlogging. And I am so glad I decided to do that, because it led me to the Amalfi Coast. I think one of the most beautiful areas I have ever been in the entire world. Casa Angelina, potentially my favorite hotel ever. If you haven't seen that video, please go back and watch it, because it's just the memories I have from that place. I cannot wait to get back there. It was so much fun. It's not a very car place because the roads are super narrow. You get loads of coaches and buses and trucks driving about 300 miles an hour. And also it's very hard to get up and down all the different roads. But if you want to go for a holiday, for enjoyment, you've got to check out the Amalfi Coast. I then started to slowly work my way back up through the country, and of course had the ridiculous opportunity to get behind the wheel of a Lamborghini race car, the Huracan Super Trofeo. Now on that day, I wasn't particularly prepared for what was going to happen, and I think maybe I underused the opportunity. To get behind the wheel of a car like that is a pretty once-in-a-lifetime opportunity if you're not a racing driver, and I pussied out a little bit. So I think maybe if that ever comes along again, I've got to have a bit more confidence and go for it, but still, the passenger lap, everything about it was so cool, and what a track, Vallelunga, amazing. As soon as we were done with the Lambo driving, it was time to head back up north towards Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. Now, if you watched all the videos, you'll know I had a pretty mega fail around the Italian Grand Prix. To give you a bit of a backstory of the day itself, we were very kindly invited by Martini Williams Racing along on the Sunday, actually race day. Now, we were told many times that the traffic getting into the circuit was pretty bad and we should get there quite early. I've been lucky enough to attend a few different Grand Prix, all with equally bad traffic. So I was like, okay, fine, the race starts at 2, we'll get there for like 10:30. That's 4 hours or something like that in advance. We get there at 10:30. It takes an hour and a half from the entrance of the circuit to our parking spot. It was the most stressful, most unbearable, most Italian mess I've ever experienced. Literally just because the pedestrian entrance and the car entrance was the same place. And all the stewards and security were giving priority to the pedestrians. So the cars just weren't moving. It was a nightmare. Anyway, I finally got into the circuit. I had my little zoomy camera. I was vlogging everything. It was amazing. We were in the paddock, the Williams motorhome, the pit garage. Even when the race ended, we went underneath the podium. I was like zooming into Lewis Hamilton's face. It was the most incredible shots ever. We then had to leave, and it was equally bad. We literally, I think we left the circuit at about 5 p.m, or we left the paddock at 5 p.m. We left the circuit at 7:30. 2.5 hours sat in a car park waiting for the traffic to clear. So yeah, one thing to learn about going to the Italian Grand Prix, bring sandwiches for your car because the traffic is appalling. The next morning, I had to drop my girlfriend off super early at the airport, and I decided to reformat the camera that had all of that footage on it. So I lost everything, which was such a shame because it was such an incredible experience, and I'm very grateful to Williams Martini Racing for the invitation. I then popped up into Switzerland, met up with Cars with the Loot to drive a 430 Scuderia, always a great day. Chased a P1, I mean, again, ridiculousness. That's where the Abartha 124 Spider came into its own, because as a camera car, but a chase car, I was shocked at how much fun it was. And that day we had beautiful weather, so much fun, wicked roads, and it's a P1. Popping back down into Italy, obviously I went up to meet up with Filippo and Carlo and their incredible 2 classic Ferraris, the 365BB and the 328 GTS, and that was potentially my favourite sort of Ferrari day. I know we're going to come on to the Maranello celebrations, but there was something about the day which is everything I wanted it to be. I love meeting viewers and subscribers who are passionate about cars or who have bought or own cars that they love. And Filippo and Carlo were just 2 very, very passionate people, and it was just a very Italian day, and I freaking loved that. That was amazing. And of course then it was time to head over to Maranello for the 70th anniversary celebrations, which blew me away. I never expected it to be as crazy and ridiculous as it was. From the Friday afternoon when I first turned up to the Saturday and even a bit on the Sunday, it was just Ferrari heaven. I mean, like the most incredible, rare, unbelievable Ferraris driving around everywhere. Just parking up, driving around, revving. Pure madness, but so much fun. Once that was over, I was like, right, well, where do I go from here? It's a good question. I popped over to Monaco. That seemed like the obvious next choice. Whenever I'm in that part of the world, I struggle not to find a reason to head to Monaco. As most of you know, I was supposed to be going there in Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, a manual version, but the car had a slight issue, so I ended up taking a 4C Spider for the first day, which I really I don't want to complain about because I missed being in a 4C Spider so much. That car was so much fun. And I was there for a day or so, bumming around, roof down, lots of noise, before Alfa did very kindly bring me a manual Giulia Quadrifoglio to go and have some fun on. And I went to my new favourite road in the world, the D2. Again, if you haven't seen that video, please click the link below because, that road still absolutely takes my breath away. And finally, it was time to wrap up the trip by going to the Best of Italy festival. This was always going to be the finishing point to the trip. When I was planning this whole thing, no matter how long it was going to be, it was always going to finish in Best of Italy because it was the perfect summary to my trip. I was there to try and celebrate the Best of Italy. And that festival, its 2nd year now, so incredible, so Italian, so much fun, wild activities going on. People absolutely gunning it in the most outrageous cars, from old Lancia race cars to brand new Aventador S's. It's just non-stop incredible. But of course, for me, the standout experience from that weekend, but also my life, was riding in the passenger seat / the floor of the Maserati MC12 GT1 with Joe Macari as he puffed on a cigarette the entire way up the closed 26-kilometre stretch of the Best of Italy race. It just felt like the perfect way to end the trip, and that was the end of the trip. I headed back to Milan, jumped on a plane, handed the bath back, jumped on a plane, and now I'm back in London. So a bit of an overview, a bit of a summary. If you've missed any of those videos, please go check them out. I'll put a link to the Vlogari playlist. Maybe there's one on screen as well, another link to the Vlogari playlist. You can go back and watch all the videos, any ones that you may have missed. There's plenty of stuff that happened that I didn't talk about just then. I wanted to kind of pull out my highlights. To give you a quick overview of the costs, I got my phone to do a bit of calculating. Hotels, very quickly, it was 1,900 quid, so just under £2,000 for the hotels for the entire 3 weeks. Flights ended up being very expensive because I flew up from a family holiday in Puglia to Milan. That was like 250 quid, and then my flight home was 130, something like that, so that's 380 quid for the flights. Then fuel, on average, because I was moving a lot, I ended up doing 7,000 kilometers in the Abarth. 7,000 kilometers in the Abarth. And on average, I was doing about, let's say, 40 euros of fuel per day across the 21 days. So about 850 quid on fuel. So where are we? 1,900 plus 380 plus 850, so we're at about 3,130. Tolls were about 500 quid on top. That's including the vignette to Switzerland. That's including bombing around in Monaco, and then all of the Italian tolls, which really started to add up. That's £3,500. Any other major costs? No. I mean, there'll probably be obviously other costs along the road, like food and drink and stuff, but I would say the trip probably cost in the region of about £3,500. But because of the memories, the opportunities, the experiences I had, for me, well worth it. I honestly think I'm going to carry Vlogari with me to my grave because it was everything I wanted it to be. Fair enough, I could have gone a little bit more hardcore on the Ferrari front. I could have done every single video on Ferraris, but I think even I might have got a little bit sick of that. Unbelievable, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Please comment below. Let me know, what were your favourite moments of the trip? What were your standout moments of the trip? I am well underway planning the next vlog series. Hopefully it will have as cringy or cliched as a name as Vlogari. I actually quite liked Vlog Angelis. But yeah, I really want to make this kind of regular forms of content, really, is these vlog series where I go off and explore a certain place and meet up with as many of you as possible and bash out the daily videos because I really enjoy it. So give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed Vlogari, if you've been along for the adventure, and make sure to subscribe for all the adventures still to come.